We are just a couple of weeks away from Star Wars Andor, and a couple of months away from The Bad Batch Season 2, as well as Tales of the Jedi by Disney and Lucasfilm, to really kind of expand the Star Wars universe before we get into 2023, which, by the way, is going to be by far the busiest year for Disney and Lucasfilm on the Star Wars universe. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one of the big Star Wars, plans by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni is to essentially really revive a lot of Star Wars Legends characters, as well as focusing on the original trilogy characters, as well as ones from Star Wars Rebels and the Clone Wars. So, essentially, we are getting a lot of new characters mixed in together with returning characters, which, by the way, I think is the best way to really go about doing this. I know that a lot of fans always keep saying, let go of the old characters, focus only on the new, but I really think that a great way to begin things and start things off with this new expanded universe is to really focus on mixing it all together and to kind of create that balance for people that, A, only want new characters, or B, want to actually see the original characters come back. And that's exactly what they're doing moving forward with, of course, The Mandalorian Season 4, the Ahsoka Tano series, and a whole lot more to arrive in the next couple of years. So with that being said, however, what's even all the more exciting has a lot to do with exactly what Favreau and Filoni currently have planned for new Star Wars TV shows, specifically, of course, with the Mandoverse. Now, the Mandoverse, as a lot of fans like to call it, the Mandalorian Seasons 1 through 4 so far, the Ahsoka series, etc., any of the spin-offs that come off of the Mandalorian series. So, with that being said, with both Jon and Dave currently working on Mando 3 and 4, back to back, they already have a handful of storyboards mapped out for the 4th season of Mando that have been finalized to be used in the script once they plan to begin writing sometime by later this year into early 2023. Further, it's described that currently both Favreau and Filoni are actively developing a plot piece for The Mandalorian Season 4 that is set to recreate Han Solo to his younger days. Jon and Dave have been begging Harrison Ford to return for The Mandalorian 4 so that they can use revolutionary de-aging technology. However, now if Harrison Ford declines the offer, or if it ends up being too costly, they are set to stick with deepfake technology. One of the big story pieces for Mandalorian Season 4 is that they have planned in a scene where Luke Skywalker meets Han Solo at his home with a young Ben Solo. Lucasfilm has been looking at hiring Finn Wolfhard for the role of a young Ben Solo. However, with the actor holding and actually having a higher age now, they are actually focusing on using special technology to make him some years younger for the flashback scene that is planned during both Luke and Ben Solo's training sessions. It's described to be a moment where Han Solo wants to show Luke his concerns about his son, showing Vader tendencies and dark side traits. One of the storyboards involves a sequence in which Luke travels to Han Solo's home, where a part of it is already destroyed from Ben Solo's rage. This is where Luke gives a valuable lesson to Ben Solo about the Force, and shows him a lightsaber for the very first time, that could very well maybe be his one day. This is described to be one of the few times that Luke gets to meet his nephew. Luke, of course, lets Ben Solo wield the saber and ignites it, as the saber was once handled by a Jedi during the events of Order 66. One big change that Favreau and Filoni are making is that Ben's lightsaber dates back to the prequel trilogy movies that was eventually modified by Ben Solo. And let me just pause here for a second, because if you guys actually examine the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series when they go over to Jabim, in that base, you actually see Kenobi looking at a handful of lightsabers on a table on top of a cloth. And it really just goes to show you that a lot of lightsabers are out there, scattered across the galaxy, either salvaged from, Coruscant during Order 66, or the remaining Jedi across the galaxy that had been killed off, and other Force sensitives actually gathered those sabers. So, Luke Skywalker, as you all know, in the canon, goes on a lot of different adventures with Lor San Tekka, hunting down Jedi lore and trying to protect it from the Empire or the remnants of the Empire. So, obviously, There's a lot to tell about Ben Solo's lightsaber in the upcoming Star Wars canon that John and Dave are planning on really changing and adding more in depth. Now, the plan here about showing Ben Solo's rage and how Han Solo's going to be concerned about his son, in case you guys did not know, this was an original idea that was supposed to be used in The Force Awakens that J.J. Abrams eventually cut out of the original script. It seems as though that John and Dave are picking up on J.J.'s original ideas and kind of reinventing all of that to really dating it back further to Han and Luke's younger years, of course. So, moving forward from that, one big change that Favreau and Filoni are making is that Ben Solo's lightsaber will be handled differently in the upcoming canon. However, another storyboard illustrates both Han and Luke talking about Ben Solo, where Han tells Luke that sending him away eventually is all Leia's idea and not his, and that both Luke and Han get into a subtle argument about sending his son away and if he will end up like Anakin again, to which Han's fear eventually comes true, as we all know in the sequels. Another storyboard already created by Favreau involves Luke informing Han that the boy needs training, but that he is not ready to just yet. Luke informs Han and Leia that they need to keep control of him for the time being while Luke will be away for a while, and that he needs to trust, and that Ben Solo needs to trust his parents for any of his training to actually work. Now, Luke showing Ben Solo the saber and connecting with Jedi's past is said to have been a strategy by Luke to temporarily relieve dark side tendencies for Ben Solo. Both Favreau and Filoni are aiming to make Mando 4 about family, both on Din Djarin's end as well as new stories about the Skywalkers. So, before I get to the next thing here that really does intrigue a lot of the lore of Star Wars is that you can see that what Favreau and Filoni are trying to accomplish is that they really are trying to make Mando 4 go full circle. Basically, it's not just going to be about Din Djarin and Grogu and everything related to that, but it's also going to be about side stories related to the Skywalkers. Again, John and Dave said this a couple of weeks ago that they don't want Mando to just be about Din Djarin. They want it to be about all of these different characters. They're treating the Mandalorian as basically like this foundation of many different stories that are eventually going to come together to tell more stories in future spin-off shows, etc. Kind of similar to what the Ahsoka series is doing right now. So, obviously, John and Dave, they have their head on straight. They know exactly what they're doing. I think that, given that they have had their eyes on Finn Wolfhard for a very long time now, and they are in the process of getting him on board as Ben Solo, you know, we talked about this about a year and a half ago, and now it's finally moving forward faster than ever before. And I think that, obviously, John and Dave really want to enhance the Star Wars experience when it comes to the relationships between Luke, Han, Leia, Ben Solo, you know, all of the Skywalkers and those that actually, you know, are connected to the Skywalkers, you know, whether it be friends or family, whatever it may be, is what John and Dave really want to focus on a lot more in live action form. So, overall, guys, you know, it's going to be very interesting to see by 2024 what Luke Skywalker is going to look like with Ben Solo, as well as what they're going to be able to do with Han coming back. So let me know what you guys have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.